We are getting close to finishing up our freestyle, and we only have two sections left. Okay, my favorite quotes and then the footer. So let's deal with the quotes. And remember, I don't want us to really change our initial markup for our structure because it was part of exercise 2 to use particular markup elements. Okay, so let's take a look at our code and what we have to work with here. So in the original, we used pre, and then we were using the BR tags, probably one of the requirements. And now what we need to do is style our type here. And by default, these should take on the characteristics of the p tag. Okay, so what we're going to do is we will introduce another element. Okay, and we're going to use the generic div element. So we're just going to div, and we'll close our opening div, and then after this last line of text, we will close our div element like so. Okay? And what we're going to do is we're now going to use a class. And let's go class equals, and these are quotes. So let's call this fave, we'll shorten it, but fave quotes, like so. And then I'll just copy my class name so I don't misspell something. So we'll just copy this. And let's go to the bottom of our CSS. All right. And we will introduce our class. Okay. Now we could, because this class is directly inside this div, you can also do this. Okay. I'm not going to, but you can. All right. So we know exactly where that class is being applied, if you will. All right. So let's add our curly braces. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a font family first. So I'm going to expand the bottom here, and we're going to look at our assets. And if we scroll up, there's colors, there's photos. All right, so instead of working with Unsplash, I've been having us literally create an absolute path to images in our exercise folder on the class server. Okay, but there's other assets down here, other tools you can use. We're going to look at fonts, and you can go to Google Fonts, and this is a really nice way to add a custom font to your page. So Roboto is a really common one, probably why it's first here, but you can search or delimit through categories, languages, font properties. So you could type something in here, so you would be able to see exactly what word, or maybe you want to type a headline in here. Okay, and then you'll see what that headline will look like in the font. So let's just say you want to use Roboto. All you need to do, and you can click on See Specimen and get more of a history of the type and more example, more of a visual example. But all you need to do is click the little plus sign here, and you'll see this little header pop up. Okay, so if you click inside here, what you would do is we're just going to use standard instead of an import. Okay, but you can also customize, and then you would be able to add other font weights. So if you wanted 700 and 900, or if you wanted to use an italic, you would just check one of these and they would be added to the code. Okay. You can also download the fonts and then use them in your graphics programs if you want to create graphics on your page which uses fonts which you will be linking to. All right, so I'm just going to keep the default here. All right, and we go back to embed, and basically all you do is copy this link and paste this right after the title in the head of your document. And then this is your font family, and you would copy and paste your font family into the style which you want to add that property to. Okay, now that's how you would do it when you're using your own editor later on. In CodePen, there's a slightly different way of doing this part here. So let's go back to our pen for a moment, and then if we scroll down, you'll notice you will see some pretty popular fonts from Google Fonts, and of course Roboto is one of those. So you could just expand this little menu and we would copy the link. Instead of using import, we're going to just copy the link, and then this would copy the font family, which would be the same as what I've shown you here. If you copied what is your link code, and then you'd have to come back and copy your font family property. Okay, so let's just do this since it's Roboto, and let's go back to our pen, and we will copy the link. Then what we have to do is go to our HTML, to our settings. We're going to open up our settings, and this is stuff for the head. So this is where you would place the link for your Google font. All right, so we'll just paste, and here's our code. So we're creating a link, and our href is linking to the font on Google Fonts. And you'll notice that in this case, the font family, they've chosen for us 400, 500, and 700. So book, sort of a medium, and then 700 bold. And then the relationship, this attribute, is just letting you know that the relationship of this link is it's a style sheet. All right, so we could now save and close, and that font should be inside and available in the head of our document. So let's go back to our assets, and we'll find Roboto again. And this time we're going to copy the font family. And then I'm going to close this panel down because we're viewing our page in its own tab. So in Fave Quotes, let's go ahead and paste our font family. And again, to be consistent, I never tend to put a space after the colon. So let's now set font size, and our font size will be, I'm going to make these larger. Let's go with 18 pixels, semicolon. We will save, and let's take a look. We'll update our page. Let's scroll down, and you'll see that we now have Roboto, except for in the pre here, and we haven't set a font weight, but we will, and we will style this type so it looks a little nicer, so it's a little easier to read, and we'll do that next.